Something is wrong. You feel it deep in your bones, a subtle hum beneath the everyday noise, a discordant note in the symphony of accepted reality. This world, the one they present as solid and true, feels off. It's like wearing spectacles with the prescription deliberately, minutely incorrect, enough to make you question your own sight. Not theirs. Never theirs. This sensation, this gnawing unease, is the first whisper of inversion. The insidious idea that everything you've been taught, everything you've accepted, might just be the wrong way round. A carefully constructed lie, polished until it gleams like truth. This inversion isn't a grand theatrical flip. Oh no, it's far more cunning than that. It's in the small things. The way success is measured by accumulation, not contribution. The way conformity is praised as stability, and dissent is painted as madness. It's a quiet, pervasive distortion. A funhouse mirror reflecting a warped version of what should be. Souls who sense this, the ones with a flicker of an older knowing, begin to stir. They feel the chafing of invisible chains. They see the shadows where others see only light, and the glaring emptiness where others find comfort. The effect is profoundly disorienting. Imagine waking up one morning to find gravity subtly lessened. Not enough to float away, but enough to make every step uncertain. That's the world for the soul attuned to its inversion. The rules don't quite make sense. The reassurances ring hollow. There's a constant low-level thrum of cognitive dissonance. You look at the smiling faces, the nodding heads, and a cold dread washes over you. Are they all in on it, or are they simply asleep? The question itself feels dangerous. This world, it whispers that up is down, that black is white. It rewards the hollow and punishes the authentic. It normalizes the absurd, and for those whose inner compass still points true north, this creates a silent scream, an internal rebellion before any external action can even be conceived. The soul knows. It remembers a different way, a way that makes sense, a way that isn't twisted into this grotesque parody of existence. This is the genesis of aversion. The profound instinctual rejection of a reality deliberately turned on its head. The initial realization often comes not as a thunderclap, but as a hairline crack in a perfectly polished surface. A moment, a word misplaced, a news report that doesn't quite add up. It's a tiny snag in the fabric of normality. You might dismiss it at first, a trick of the light, a misunderstanding, your own tired mind playing pranks. But the crack, once noticed, cannot be unseen. It begins to spread, spiderwebbing across the facade you once trusted. The world starts to glitch. This discomfort is a peculiar beast. It's a blend of confusion and a strange, unsettling clarity. You see the contradiction. The politician preaching family values caught in a scandal. The corporation championing green initiatives while poisoning the local river. The history books with convenient omissions. Accepted norms suddenly appear arbitrary and quite often cruel. You start asking why, more often. And the answers you receive feel like carefully constructed deflections, smooth, practiced, empty. This is the point where you feel the chill wind of otherness. The discrepancy between the preached ideal and the lived reality becomes a chasm. You observe people navigating this chasm with an unnerving ease. They perform the rituals, they recite the platitudes, they seem untroubled by the gaping inconsistencies. This observation breeds a profound sense of alienation. You are the odd one out, the one who can't quite get the steps right in this strange, inverted dance. The discomfort grows from a nagging itch to a persistent ache, a sign that your soul is rejecting the programming. This isn't a comfortable awakening, it's jarring, it's isolating. You might try to point out the cracks to others, to your friends, to your family. Their reactions can be a shock. Blank stares, polite dismissals, or worse, a subtle pathologizing of your concerns. You're overthinking it. You're too sensitive. Why can't you just be happy? These responses push you further into the cold. You begin to understand. The accepted norms are not just norms, they are walls, and you are starting to see through them. Societal systems, you begin to see, are not neutral frameworks. They are intricate machines designed for control. And their primary fuel? Contradiction. They preach freedom while tightening the noose of regulation. They champion equality while entrenching privilege. They promise security while fostering fear. These contradictions are not flaws in the system. They are features, deliberate tools to confuse, to disempower, to keep the populace docile and dependent. The strings are almost invisible, yet they pull with undeniable force. Consider the grand narratives, the stories we are told about our history, our purpose, our enemies. These narratives are often built on a foundation of suppressed truths and magnified falsehoods. The system perpetuates itself by inverting reality. Heroes are villains, victims are perpetrators. Progress is often regression in disguise. It's a masterful illusion. A stage play where the audience is convinced the painted backdrop is a real horizon. And those who peek behind the curtain are quickly labeled troublemakers, disruptors of the peace. Control is maintained not just through overt force, but through subtle psychological manipulation. The constant bombardment of information, much of it contradictory, overwhelms the critical faculties. The relentless promotion of trivial distractions keeps minds occupied and away from inconvenient questions. The cultivation of division us versus them prevents any unified challenge to the status quo. The system is an expert at turning people against each other, all while its architects remain comfortably in the shadows, pulling the strings. This architecture of deceit is designed to be self-perpetuating. Children are inducted into it from birth. Education systems often prioritize indoctrination over genuine critical thought. Media landscapes shape perception, reinforcing the desired narratives. To question the system is to question the very air you breathe. It's to risk being ostracized, to risk being deemed unstable. The suppression is not always violent. Often it is the soft, suffocating pressure of conformity, the silent disapproval, the withdrawal of acceptance. This is how the inverted world sustains its precarious balance. For those who see through the illusion, the emotional toll is immense. It's a heavy cloak of despair, a deep, aching loneliness. You walk through a world of sleeping people. Their eyes are open, but they do not see. You try to speak your truth, but your words are met with incomprehension. Or worse, with a gentle, pitying smile. The kind reserved for the deluded. This constant invalidation chips away at your sanity, or at least at your confidence in it. The system has a particularly insidious weapon. Gaslighting. It will tell you that what you see is not real, that your perceptions are flawed, that your discomfort is a sign of your own internal failing. It's all in your head. You're being paranoid. These phrases are designed to make you doubt yourself, to turn your inner turmoil back upon yourself, to convince you that the problem is not the inverted world, but your inability to adapt to its madness. It is a cruel and effective tactic. Isolation becomes a grim companion. Friendships may fray. Family relationships may become strained. You find yourself unable to participate in the casual conversations, the shared assumptions that bind others together. The topics they discuss seem trivial, their concerns, manufactured. You are an outsider looking in, separated by a pane of glass you can see, but they cannot. This enforced solitude can be crushing. It can lead to depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of hopelessness. The system wants you to feel alone, because alone you are less of a threat. Furthermore, the system actively works to discredit those who speak out. They are labeled conspiracy theorists, extremists, mentally unstable. These labels serve to marginalize their voices, to ensure that their warnings are not heeded by the wider populace. It's a sophisticated form of character assassination, designed to neutralize dissent before it can spread. The psychological struggle is not just against the external lies, but against the internalized voice of the system. The voice that whispers, maybe they're right, maybe I am the one who is broken. Eyes wide open. The veil lifts. Then comes the turning point. It might be gradual, a slow dawning, or it might be a sudden, shattering epiphany, a moment when all the pieces click into place. The despair doesn't vanish entirely, but it is joined by something new, a cold, hard anger, and a breathtaking, terrifying clarity. You see the inversion not as a random series of unfortunate events, but as a deliberate, meticulously crafted design. The true nature of the world stands revealed, naked, unashamed, and deeply, profoundly wrong. This awakening is a profound shift in consciousness. The gaslighting loses its power. The attempts to make you doubt your sanity become transparently manipulative. You realize you are not mad, you are awake. In a world that prefers its inhabitants comfortably numb, the isolation may persist, but it changes character. It is no longer the isolation of the lost, but the solitude of the seer. You understand that your perception is not a curse, but a gift, a terrible, beautiful gift. With this understanding comes the beginning of detachment. You start to disengage from the inverted systems. Not physically perhaps, not yet, but emotionally, psychologically. Their rewards no longer entice you. Their punishments no longer frighten you as much. You see the game for what it is, a rigged charade, and you begin slowly to withdraw your consent, your participation, your energy. This detachment is not apathy, it is a strategic retreat, a gathering of strength. The world outside remains the same. The inversion continues its relentless grind, but something fundamental within you has changed. You are no longer a confused victim of its distortions. You are an observer, a witness, and increasingly, a quiet rebel. The veil has lifted, and though the sight is often horrifying, it is also liberating. You know the truth. And that truth, however stark, sets you on a new path. A path away from the scripted reality, and towards something more authentic, something real. Breaking the marionette's hold. Whispers of rebellion. Rebellion, in an inverted world, doesn't always mean grand gestures. It often begins with the quiet assertion of self-sovereignty. Small acts of defiance, choosing authenticity over conformity, speaking your truth even when your voice trembles, refusing to participate in the charades that demand your complicity. Each refusal is a cut string. Each moment of genuine expression is a step away from the puppet master's control. This is where empowerment begins to bloom in the desolate landscape of despair. One powerful method of rebellion is the reclaiming of your mind. This means actively curating the information you consume, questioning everything, seeking out alternative perspectives, learning to trust your intuition, that inner voice the system tries so hard to silence. It means cultivating critical thought as a daily practice, turning off the noise, the endless stream of propaganda and distraction, creating space for your own thoughts to emerge, uncontaminated, uncontrolled. This internal work is the bedrock of external freedom. Self-sovereignty also involves taking responsibility for your own well-being, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The inverted system thrives on dependency, on keeping people sick, scared, and scrambling. By prioritizing your health, by cultivating inner peace, by connecting with something larger than the material world, you lessen its hold on you. Growing your own food, learning practical skills, building resilient communities, these are all acts of rebellion. They are declarations of independence from a system designed to keep you reliant and weak. These methods are not about overthrowing the entire system overnight. That may come, or it may not. They're about reclaiming your own life, your own agency, your own soul, from the clutches of the inversion. It's about living in truth as much as possible within a world of lies. It's about creating pockets of sanity, oases of authenticity. These acts, though seemingly small, have a profound ripple effect. They inspire others. They weaken the foundations of the inverted structure, one awakened, sovereign soul at a time. Passing the torch. The contagion of clarity. The awakened soul rarely remains silent for long. The burden of knowledge, once shouldered, creates an urge to share. Not to preach, not to force, but to offer a lifeline to others still drowning in the sea of deception. This is a delicate dance. How do you wake someone who doesn't know they're asleep? How do you describe color to someone born blind? It begins with empathy, remembering your own confusion, your own resistance, your own slow, painful journey to clarity. Guidance often takes the form of asking questions, planting seeds, rather than offering pronouncements. Have you ever noticed? Does this make sense to you? These gentle probes can create the first cracks in another's carefully constructed reality. It's about fostering critical thought, not imposing your own conclusions. The most powerful awakenings are those that come from within. Your role is to be a catalyst, a mirror reflecting the inconsistencies they may have vaguely sensed but never dared to confront. The process of awakening others is like lighting candles in a vast darkness. Each newly lit flame doesn't diminish your own. It adds to the collective light. It pushes back the shadows. There will be resistance, fear, denial. These are natural reactions. The inverted world is, for many, a comfortable prison. The known, however flawed, often feels safer than the unknown. Patience and compassion are crucial. Not everyone is ready to see. Not everyone wants to. Yet the contagion of clarity is powerful. One awakened individual inspires another. Small groups form. Conversations deepen. Shared understanding builds a sense of solidarity, dispelling the isolation that the system relies upon. These networks of awakened souls become beacons of hope. They are the living proof that an alternative to the inverted reality exists, that it is possible to see through the lies, to reclaim your mind, and to stand in your truth. This collective stirring is the true threat to the inversion's reign. The inverted world crumbles. Fissures in the facade. The inversion, for all its apparent power, is built on a foundation of lies, and lies, by their very nature, are fragile. They require constant maintenance, constant reinforcement. As more individuals awaken, as more souls withdraw their consent and their energy, the structure begins to weaken. The fissures in the facade, once hairline cracks, widen into gaping holes. The carefully constructed narratives start to unravel under the weight of their own contradictions. The illusion becomes harder to sustain. This crumbling is not always a sudden cataclysm. Often it's a slow, grinding process of decay. Institutions lose credibility, authority figures are exposed. The old mechanisms of control become less effective. People begin to question openly what was once only whispered in private. The collective cognitive dissonance reaches a tipping point. The emperor, it becomes clear to more and more, has no clothes. This growing awareness is like a solvent, dissolving the glue that holds the inverted world together. The role of the awakened is crucial in accelerating this process. By living their truth openly, by building alternative systems, by refusing to comply with the absurdities, they demonstrate that another way is possible. They create new patterns, new models for living, that are based on authenticity, cooperation, and respect for truth. These emergent systems, however small initially, offer a compelling contrast to the decaying structures of the inversion. They are the seeds of a new, uninverted world. The ultimate collapse of the inversion is not guaranteed. It requires sustained effort, courage, and a critical mass of awakened individuals, but its downfall is inevitable if the awakening continues to spread. For a system based on deceit cannot indefinitely withstand the light of truth. The more people who see it for what it is, the less power it holds. The collective withdrawal of belief is its death knell. The crumbling may be messy, it may be chaotic, but it is the necessary precursor to building something better, something real. The uprising of an uninverted soul. A call to reclaim reality. The journey from disorientation to empowerment is arduous. It is a battle fought on two fronts, within the depths of your own soul, and against the pervasive deceit of the external world. But this journey is not without its profound rewards. The clarity, the authenticity, the deep connection to your own inner truth. These are treasures beyond measure. They are the armor you wear in the fight against the inversion, the light you carry into the darkness. This is not merely a call to observe or to understand. This is a call to action, a call to rebellion, not necessarily a rebellion of fists and fury, but a rebellion of consciousness, a rebellion of choice. Choose truth over comfort. Choose authenticity over conformity. Choose courage over fear. Every conscious choice you make against the grain of the inverted world is a revolutionary act. It is a declaration that you will not be a passive participant in your own subjugation. Awaken others, gently, patiently, but persistently. Share your insights, ask the uncomfortable questions, be a beacon for those still lost in the fog. The inversion thrives on isolation and ignorance. Your clarity shared is a potent antidote. Form communities, build networks of support. Together your light is magnified, together your voices are amplified. The system fears collective awakening more than anything else, for it signals the end of its reign. The world is crying out for uninverted souls, for individuals brave enough to see, to speak, and to act. The time for passive acceptance is over. The time for quiet despair is past. Now is the time to reclaim your sovereignty, to help dismantle the backward systems, to co-create a reality founded on truth, integrity, and respect for the human spirit. The aversion of inversion is not just a feeling, it is a sacred duty. Answer the call, rebel, and help turn this world right side up again.